going to spend just a few minutes talking about what happens when, from a physiological standpoint, when we are living in a heightened state. And then we'll talk a little bit about a breathing technique that can help in lowering that stress response. And we'll practice it together. And then we'll go into a brief meditation and close. So no more than 30 minutes here today, but thanks again for joining. And if at any time you have questions, feel free to hop in and just ask, because I'm sure, as you know, if you have a question, it's likely that someone else has the same exact question. So feel free to pipe up. So what's going on in our bodies when we are feeling stressed? It can be a little stress, it can be big stress. Oftentimes, we are living in a somewhat stressful state and not even knowing it, just based on everyday life. And what happens is that our brain releases these neuropeptides that signal our organs to release stress chemicals, hormones. And that was really helpful back in the day when we needed to, say, run from a saber-toothed tiger, which fortunately is not the case for us anymore. But back in that day, fortunately, we had these stress hormones that would immediately make us either able to fight or to run. In case of saber-toothed tiger, probably run, but really helpful because we needed to be able to do that. And when, we don't want these hormones to go away overall, they're helpful to us, we need them. But in order to be able to function on a daily basis, we can't be living in that state all the time. So what happens when we have that sort of response is we feel it in our bodies, and the blood is actually sent out to our limbs so that we're prepared to either fight or to run, or sometimes freeze, depending on what the situation is. And again, that's really helpful depending on the stimulus. But nowadays, for us to be living in that sort of heightened state is not healthy, of course. Back in the case of the saber-toothed tiger, of course, hopefully you get away from the tiger and your hormones go back to normal when it's not there anymore. In this sort of situation where it's an ongoing threat, so to speak, we can be living in a state that doesn't feel good, and where we're living in that sort of survival mode unbeknownst to ourselves. Sometimes we know we might not feel good, but when we're doing that, our organs are, like I said, all the blood is being sent out to our limbs, so we're ready to fight or run, which means the blood is not flowing properly, is not circulating properly, and things are actually shutting down so that all of the energy can go toward doing what we need for survival. So we want to be able to use our awareness to recognize when that is the case, and recognize that, as I said, we don't want these hormones to go away. We need them for situations where it's appropriate. But in cases like this, we want to be able to use our awareness to recognize that we might be starting to live in a state that doesn't feel good, even if it's at a relatively low level. I'm not talking about necessarily the extreme stress, although it does pile up the less we pay attention to it, of course. So where we have the ability to adjust this and alter this is just using our awareness, just recognizing and honoring how we're feeling, and by noticing that, we can actually allow those chemicals to wash through our bodies. Believe it or not, it takes only 90 seconds, a minute and a half, for the hormones to flush right through your body if you don't continue engaging with them. So what typically happens is we feel stress, we feel it in our body, and then we go into that fight or flight response, that survival sort of response, and then we go into our mind about it. We feel it, and then we're like, oh, here's the story about this. I know what this is based on prior experience, or I know what might happen in the future, or what if, all these different sorts of things. We engage our minds, which actually perpetuate it for the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, hours, days, weeks, months. And so it's really one of the things that I love most is just simply knowing, if you can use your awareness, when you use your awareness to recognize that you're feeling triggered by something or feeling kind of off, going into your breath, which is part of why we're going to do some breath work next, going into your breath and consciously focusing on your breath can bring you back to the present moment, right here, right now, where there is no saber-toothed tiger, there is no immediate threat. And literally, those stress hormones wash through your system in just a minute and a half by focusing on your breath. So again, we oftentimes get focused on, we start this spiral of thoughts that relate to them, and then we have this constant cycle going on where we have the thoughts which trigger the body, and then we feel it in the body, and then we go back to the thoughts about it, back and forth. So what I would encourage you to do is just knowing that, having this little bit of information, notice when you're feeling upset, when you're feeling triggered by something, and don't just look the other way and think, oh, I don't want to look at that, because then it's just going to get stuck in you. It's going to get stored up. Use your breath to say, okay, I'm feeling whatever it is. And know that by allowing those chemicals to wash through you, those stress hormones to wash on through you, your system can then come back to a normal state where it's not shutting down in that fight or flight, and your systems can continue with rest, restore, all the things that it needs for proper health. So with that said, as I mentioned, awareness is the first step, and then coming into your breath. So simply noticing your breath, first of all, is something you can do. Fortunately, our breath is with us 24 hours a day, 7 days out of the week, something that's always there. And it happens, of course, without us thinking about it at all. But it's something that we actually have the ability, of course, to focus on and to alter. And it's really powerful for adjusting how we're feeling. So utilizing your breath, like I said, you can utilize it what I would call reactively, as in if you're feeling triggered or upset by something, going into your breath and noticing it, and maybe using a breathing exercise like the one we're going to do together today, or even just simply focusing on slowing down your breathing. Anytime your exhale is longer than your inhale, you're actually inviting your relaxation response in the body. So you can do a really specific breathing exercise like we'll do today, or you can simply just slow your breath and make sure your exhale is longer. By doing that, as I would say, reactively in response to a situation, you can allow yourself to come back into your center, to calm your mind so you're not spiraling into those thoughts. And then you actually get to choose how you want to respond. You can also utilize your breath proactively. And what I mean by that is maybe at the beginning of the day, maybe as you're getting ready, doing your hair, makeup, whatever you do, brushing your teeth as part of your morning routine, or as an actual separate practice, maybe when you first get up in the morning, spending a few minutes consciously utilizing your breath, that can kind of set the tone for your day. When I do that, I feel so much better. I feel different than I do on days that I don't. I feel like it kind of puts me on offense, where I feel like I'm able to respond to the day rather than feeling like the day is kind of happening to me and coming at me. So that's what I mean when I say you can utilize your breath either reactively, as in response to something that feels stressful, or proactively, as in to set the tone for your day, as part of a practice in the morning, or simply just as part of your morning routine. It seems to me like we've been taught that when we take a deep breath, there's an upward movement, which makes sense to a degree because obviously our lungs are up here, but it seems like we've been taught that it's like that, which is okay. But if you put your hands around, likely, I don't know if it's all women on here for the most part, if you put your hands around like where your bra strap likely would be, and just take a slow, deep breath, you want to feel expansion outward in that area as well. So go ahead and just take a moment to put your hands up, up around your rib cage, and just take a nice, slow, deep breath. And notice if you feel your ribs expanding outward in addition to up as well. Excuse me. So that is something that you'll just want to pay attention to. You don't need to keep your hands up on your ribs while you're doing a breathing exercise, but just as you're practicing it the first few times, or as you're trying it again later on, just make sure that you're feeling that expansion outward. And the breath that we're the breath that we're going to do together today is called Ujjayi breath. It's one of my favorites because it's really, really grounding and centering. So in those times where we're feeling like there's a zillion different things going on, the news says this and Facebook says this, but our family says this, and there's so much going on, to ground your thoughts, ground your energy, bring bring yourself back to center, this breath can be tremendous for that. And it's really simple. So that's why it's one of my favorites. What you're going to do is, overall, anytime you're trying to ground yourself, you want your breath to be really slow. And what you're going to do is hold your hand up in front of your face so that you can visualize that there's a mirror there. And this is something you'll just do the first couple of times that you're trying it. But you want to visualize there's a mirror there, because what you're going to do is, as you're breathing out, you want to visualize, would I be fogging a mirror that's kind of this close to my body right now? So I'll show you and then we'll do it together. So I always, when I do breath work, overall, I like to sit with my spine pretty straight, not rigid, but just sit pretty straight. Often I have my feet flat on the floor, and I usually close my eyes, because for me, having less stimulus is helpful. So I just close my eyes, and I always start with what I call a cleansing breath. So I take a nice deep breath in, and then I just kind of let it all out, not necessarily forcefully, but just kind of like emptying it all out. So it's looking something like this. And once that breath is all out, I'll take a nice deep breath in. So I'll talk through this one first, and then I'll show you without talking. I'll take a nice slow deep breath in through my nose. And then as I breathe out, I'm going to kind of make like an ocean sort of sound with my throat. So like a until it's pretty much all out. Again, not forcefully. You don't have to be like trying to get every last bit of the breath out, but really letting all of the air out. So let's try that together. Just for the practice, just go ahead and put your hand up and kind of close to your mouth, maybe, I don't know, an inch or two away from your mouth, and have your feet flat on the floor, and close your eyes. And then just start with taking a nice slow deep breath in and let it out with a and when you feel ready, go ahead and put your hand up if it's not already, and take a slow deep breath in through your nose. Let it out through your mouth with a inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And when that's complete, I like to just sit for a moment, still with my eyes closed, and just notice how I feel. See if anything feels different. Just kind of acknowledge anything that's there. Ideally, you're feeling a little more grounded, a little more stable. The mind is a little clearer. And with that, you may actually find that some other thoughts start to come up, which is fine too. Okay. So let's go ahead and move into the meditation portion. Actually, I think I want to do one more round of breathing. So with that Ujjayi breath, usually I do 3 to 4 rounds of inhale and exhale. And then I pause to check in and see how I feel. And then I see if I think I want to do another set of 3 or 4, pause again, see how I feel. And I just do as many as it seems my body needs, my mind needs, my energy needs at that time. And I'm sensing that, I don't know if it's me or you guys, but I'm sensing that perhaps one more round would be helpful. So this time, rather than holding my hand in front of my face, I'm just going to have my hands in my lap. I like to cup my hands sitting on my, so they're resting on my lap, one inside the other with my thumbs touching. You can also just have your hands open in your lap or closed. You can do Gyana Mudra like that, whatever feels good. So this time, let's keep our eyes closed and our hands down in our laps. And we'll do another 3 or 4 rounds, and then we'll move directly into the meditation. So when you're done with this round of breath work, just leave your eyes closed and continue to settle in for a little guided meditation. So starting with the cleansing breath again. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And with your eyes closed, just take a moment to notice how you feel. And as you're noticing how you feel, begin to draw your attention to the space of your heart, to your chest, where your heart beats without you even thinking about it, without you needing to ask it to do anything. It just beats with ease. Just noticing the space of the heart. And as you draw your attention there to your heart, the next time you inhale, begin to envision blue light entering directly into your heart on your inhale. And see the heart filling with blue light. Light of healing and restoration. Inhaling the blue light. And it fills the heart. The next time you inhale the blue light into your heart, as you exhale, envision that light traveling out into your body, into every cell, up to your head, out to your arms. Inhaling the blue light and pressing it out down to the soles of your feet. Each time you exhale, see how the blue light travels easily, electrically, all throughout your whole body, filling your organs, your bones, every last cell, illuminated with blue light. Continuing to breathe the blue light into your heart and out into every cell of your body. And when you feel that your body has been filled to the max with that healing blue light, on your next exhale, begin to push it out into the energy field that surrounds your body. Breathing in the blue light into the heart and pushing it out directly through your body and into the energy field that surrounds you. See it forming a blue shield, a blue egg around you, a protective coating of healing blue energy. Breathing the blue light directly into your heart and pushing it out into your energy field like a beautiful blue sphere surrounding you. Breathing the blue light directly into the heart and pushing it out into your energy field so it's formed this solid blue protective egg and shield around you. As you sit with this visualization, we're now going to invite an elevated state. I invite you to call up into the window of your mind something that you feel grateful for, something that makes you feel happy, something you appreciate. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be ice cream. It can be a child's giggle. It can be sunshine. It can be the clothes on your back. It doesn't matter what it is. Just call up into your mind something for which you feel grateful. And as you sit with that, just let that visualization of whatever it is fill your mind, fill your heart, fill your whole energy field in that protective blue egg. And feel what that feels like, to feel that appreciation, that gratitude, that happiness. Building now upon that, I invite you to call up something else that makes you feel happy. You can build on the previous or pick something entirely different. What's something that makes you feel happy? What's something that lights you up? Focus on that just for the next few moments and feel what that feels like. Once again, what's something else? A third thing that lights you up, something for which you feel grateful, appreciative, happy. And one last time, a fourth thing that makes you feel so grateful. What's something you're grateful for? Even the tiniest thing. What does it feel like to have that? As we conclude our time here together, I invite you to set an intention, excuse me, to remain as grounded and balanced as you can. Hopefully you're feeling a little lighter, a little more grounded than you were when you came. To feel gratitude for this moment. And set the intention that whenever stress comes into your life, whatever it may be, little, big, that you know you have your breath with you. And by utilizing that consciously, you have the ability to control how you feel, to control the onslaught of thoughts that may cascade otherwise. And in doing so, you are inviting health, wellness, and balance into your life every day. Thank you for being here.